Hey y'all, it's me, Shea Butter Love, popping in on this beautiful day, getting some air in a beautiful place outside. So I decided to go ahead and do another video, words of wisdom, words of encouragement, and free game. If this is your first time following my page, please feel free to hit the like button. If you like what you hear and you know somebody needs it, please text it, share it, put it on your social media, do whatever is necessary for us to be connecting as people. If you are interested in when the next video is coming and you don't want to forget, hit the notification bell. That way you can always know when I'm going to go live or post a video on my page. I want to say welcome to everybody. If you're new, if you are a subscriber that's been with me since the beginning, thank you. The page is growing at the pace that I would like for it to grow. I am not interested in big numbers real fast or real soon. That's not why I do this. I'm looking for people that really want to grow, learn, and develop some type of connection with self, for betterment of self, to be able to do a little bit more within your community, your household, your family. So today's topic is going to be anxiety. This is going to be anxiety part 3. If you haven't seen part 1 and 2, please tap in. I wanted to go ahead and continue on with the series while it's still on my heart and talk about some other things. Today's video is going to be talking about children mostly. If you want to tap in, if your child is a pet, apply it as needed, because I know some of you guys have pet kids. So go ahead and apply it as needed. But for people that you take care of and provide care for, whether that be your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, your children, or your pets, this is going to be for the providers, for the caretakers, for the nurturers, for the mothers, for the grandmothers, for the fathers, for the grandfathers, for the uncles, for the older siblings. I want to talk about signs that you can see within your children or within the younger people, the people you provide care for, that can maybe be linked and tied to anxiety. So this video is not going to be super long due to the fact that I am doing series of videos. I'm just giving you what I'm supposed to giving you. I'm just giving you what I'm supposed to give you, and then we're moving forward. So I was doing my exercise routine that I'm on, and as I was working out, I began to think about anxiety within children. And I thought about a lot of different things that I've seen in my experience of dealing with people, and I wanted to, first of all, start off with some things you may notice in people around you that can very well be linked to anxiety. Now, some of these things that you may be able to link, they are not just specifically for children, because some of these symptoms that I'm going to tell you guys about can actually be linked to adults as well. So the first one that came to mind was nail biting. This is something that we all know somebody that does. It's like very much so linked to like nervous conditions or anything where you just kind of have a little worrisome thing going on. But that is something that you can notice in somebody, and it can be linked to anxiety. Does it mean they have anxiety? No, but it is very well wouldn't be surprising if in fact you saw somebody that has issues with that, biting their nails. I would say that also another sign is bedwetting. Peeing while you're playing. We all know somebody that has done this, either growing up, being connected to it, or within ourselves, or within adults, or within friends, or whoever. That is definitely linked to that. I would also say that it's linked to other things, but I don't want to get into that. But I will say that it's definitely a sign for something going on that is beyond a child just not wanting to go to the bathroom, or a pet just not behaving. Sometimes it can definitely be anxiety or something related to feeling anxious revolving that aspect of something that private. So another thing that I want to talk about also too is if a kid is like picking, like pulling their hair out, picking their skin, picking on walls, picking on things, just nitpicking with their fingers. That can very much so be linked to anxiety as well. It may provide some type of relief or comfort from the worrying or the need to feel like they're in a rush for something. That is something that can be linked to anxiety as well. Like I said, these things do not mean, oh, for sure they have it. But it's like, if you see this, don't be surprised if you see it. Super picky eating. That can be linked to anxiety as well. I would say pay attention to these things within your own capacity, to your own discretion. These are just perspectives and information. These are not diagnoses. I thought I would put that out there because sometimes people try to dig too deep, and we're not doing none of that today. Also, if you're new to my channel, we do not do edits. We do not do multiple recordings. So what you see is what you get. If you hear stuff in the background, fine. If you see a blooper, that may happen, fine as well. Just keep on watching because we will not be stopping. So, excuse me. Another thing that is also something that can be paid attention to is digestive issues. If you have a child that is having, or a pet that is having hella heartburn, bubbly stomachs, always in the bathroom, these are things you want to pay attention to that are linked to different things that may have something wrong. That's not natural, just to put that out there. Sometimes another thing that could be linked to anxiety also is a child doing poorly on exams, a child doing poorly in academics in general. They may be worried. They may be afraid of getting in trouble if they do wrong. They may be overthinking. They may need some type of assistance with them slowing down. And that is how that goes. So I'm thinking about something else right now if I seem like I'm a little distracted mentally, because I do not plan my videos. But it's something else I want to say before I lose the thought, is that some of these things that can be triggering anxiety, I'm going to talk about those too, and I want to talk about them right now. So if you have a child that is always like, doing some of these things, we're going to continue with our list. But I want to talk about some of the things that can be contributing to their anxiety. First and foremost, a disorderly home, an unorganized home, a home that has like too many things. It's a hoarder house. A house that is just not clean. These things can contribute to anxiety. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not offending anybody, but I do believe that cleanliness is next to godliness. I am that person. If you need assistance or help with these things, I'm sure that you can get that. There are too many services, Groupon, social media, friends, family, churches that can assist with these things. If this is something that you struggle with, get help. It definitely will create anxiety in me as an adult. Not even just as a child, but if you have a child that is, for whatever reason, doing any of the things that I listed prior, it could very well have something to do with that. If you are in a household that is like unruly, if it's hella all over the place in general, like it's feisty, it's argumentative, it's negative, it is just all that energy always in your home, whether it is from a parent, a significant other, between you guys, a lot of conflict, that can create anxiety in somebody. So that is one of the things that you might want to work on if that is your situation. If you live in a home that does not have a peaceful aura, it's not relaxing, it's not calming, these are things that can trigger anxiety within people. Setting a tone, having diffusers, essential oils, having quiet time, making sure people have space. If you live in small quarters, some of us do still live in apartments. Everybody does not live in a home. If you live in an apartment, making sure that your pets, your children, the people you're providing for have places where they can go, where they can relax their mind and not be bothered at times. Nobody wants to be around people all the time. That's just reality. And the people that do, that's their thing, but most people don't. So another thing that could be creating anxiety is if a kid is worked too hard. Like, I'm a person that believes in putting kids to work, so I'm not saying to the capacity of teaching the basics. I'm not talking about that because I'm definitely not one of those super easy parents. But I mean, like, if a kid is like playing football, running track, expected to get straight A's, have to go to church on Sunday, have to go to their grandma's house and clean the yard, have to do a lot of activities, you want to make sure that your children are doing activities they want to do and they're not just being pushed and thrown around into stuff to keep them busy. Sometimes that can be a trigger for anxiety if somebody's just involved in too much stuff with not enough downtime. Everybody needs some form of downtime. Everybody don't want to be in a routine that is having them busy 465 days a year, if you get my drift. So that is definitely one of the things right there that can contribute to some of the stuff that I've seen, which can also be attitudes, moodiness, racing the floors, walking back and forth a lot. These are sometimes signs that can be linked to anxiety as well. If you have a baby or child, I'm speaking for younger children right now, and this can even go into 6-year-olds or whatever, because some children are develop a little bit slower than others, but I'm speaking specifically for like babies and toddlers. If your baby is crying all the time, your toddler is crying all the time, that may be a sign of anxiety. That may be a sign that they are not being nurtured enough, held enough, they are not being soothed enough, or that they are being overstimulated, which can create anxiety, or that your home, the aura of your home, or the people in your home don't have a positive aura. So that's just something to consider. It is natural for children to fuss a little bit and have different things that they are, in an uproar about at times. But for a child to just be hollering and screaming all the time, if they 4 and 5 years old, if they 3 and they just whining and whining and whining, that is not natural. And that doesn't mean that it is anxiety, but it can be connected. I keep saying that because when you talk about children and you talk about pets, people can become very highly sensitive. So I want to make sure that people understand this is a no judgment zone. This is just to provide an outside perspective that may provide you with some clarity if you're wondering what's going on. If you, in fact, believe that some of this stuff is making sense for you, don't hide from yourself. Don't hide from your situation. Talk to your doctors. Talk to the people that you know that provide your medical assistance, whatever that is. If you have holistic practitioners, that works as well. Your pediatricians, whomever, your veterinarian, if we're talking about pets, right? So if a kid is not stimulated enough, say for instance, you have a kid that's super creative, they love to do different things, and they're just not involved in anything really. They're bored out of their mind. All they're doing is on their phone watching TV. They don't really have friends. They don't really go anywhere. They don't really explore different things. They're not learning about different cultures. They are not outside. This can sometimes create anxiety because it's like in a rush in their mind. I need to get somewhere. I need to go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So these are just some of the things you want to consider. If you're still with me on the video, feel free to drop me a black heart. I hope that you guys are still here, and I hope that this video has been beneficial for you. I want to get back into some of the symptoms that can be looked at as some form of anxiety. If your child has a difficult time making friends, if your child is out and it's a social situation and they have a difficult time connecting to other kids there that are of the same age group as them. Not saying this happens every now and then, but it happens more frequently than not. That may be a sign of some type of social anxiety that can be addressed. These things a lot of times can be, to me, started on and worked on at home, but a lot of parents don't have the interest, the time, or the capacity to pay that close attention to the details of the people that they take care of, which is really sad to me because that's how a lot of people fall between the cracks. And that's the reason why I felt compelled to do this video, because I just see a lot when I'm around a lot of different people, and whether it's been friends, family, kids at the park, being at the mall, being wherever, and I see these things and I've experienced these things as a child also, that I can remember feeling certain ways. And a lot of adults, they just go, on about their life business, and they don't really get into the affairs of the emotional health of children. So some of the things that can help, let's get into that, right? because we gonna continue on with this, but I don't want to make this video too long. But some of the things that could help is making sure that your child has a clean environment, their sheets are clean, their bathroom is clean, their room is organized to their liking and to your liking, and that they have whatever it is they like in there to stimulate them at the level they need to be stimulated. Sometimes it's LED lights. Sometimes it is diffusers with essential oils. Sometimes it's a radio because they may like music, or a record player if they like a record player. Sometimes it may be a bookshelf to provide them with all the books and things that they need. For little young children, it may be a toy box to have them with some things that, you know, they like. Or it even may be stuffed animals. For me, when I was a kid, I was a person that really, really liked stuffed animals in my bed. Even when I got to be an older child, they did provide me with a certain level of comfort. I'm going to be all the way honest about that. So some of the other things that you can get into when it talks about that is making sure your child is bathing every day. You know, like some people, they just don't even keep up with stuff like that, and I don't know what that's about. But making sure your child sometimes takes an actual bath, not just running and jumping in the shower in a rush, but sometimes actually taking a bath and just sitting down and relaxing in the water may be good for them, especially for people that have small children like babies and toddlers. A baby and a toddler should be taking a bath every night to relax them, period, point blank, especially if they are at crawling stages, because their hands is on the floor, they touching everything. They need to take a bath. They'll sleep better. So another thing that might actually help soothe younger children that are like elementary age and younger is reading them a bedtime story. This is something that I actually frequently did with my children for years, and it's something that they looked forward to. And I believe that it also was a moment where you can connect with your child and bond with your child, but it just gives them a little bit of peace of mind that they're not alone at night. Some kids need a night light if they're scared of the dark, or they might need to leave a crack in the door to leave some light in there. That is okay. Sometimes kids need to have a schedule, like a bedtime, you know. Some of these kids just go to bed when they want. They up till midnight, up for school at 6. They ain't got no rest. Children need rest, just like adults. Children need sleep, just like adults. These are things that can contribute to assisting with the comfort that can provide some type of calming effect. If your child likes tea, drinking tea with your child is good. Or allowing them to choose their tea. Tea can be very calming and relaxing. You know, so these are just some things that you can do if you actually need some tips on how to get them to just relax. If your child is a little bit wound up. If your child seems to be showing out or acting out, they may need more one-on-one time. Sometimes it's not always time for your man and your friends and all of that. Sometimes kids need one-on-one attention. So, excuse me. I had to stretch a little bit. So, these are just some tips that I wanted to bring to you guys regarding this topic. I hope that the video has been beneficial. Words of wisdom, words of encouragement, and free game. And this will be the last thing that I'm going to say. Find some physical activities that your child like. I'm not talking about throwing them into football because you think that's what they should do. I'm talking about asking your child what they want to do physically. There are things that are out here outside of basketball, football, and track. There are gymnastics, there's swimming, there is meditation and yoga classes, there is skating, there is ice skating, there is bowling, there is archery, there's fishing. There are so many different things. There's softball, soccer, weightlifting, taekwondo. You guys get my drift? Find out what your kid is possibly going to be interested in. If your kid is having issues with social anxiety, they need to be in sports because they need to learn how to work with people. So if your kid is probably having issues with focus, something like karate or taekwondo would be good for them. If your child is having issues making friends, a group sport would be good for them. It's just time for people to put a little more thought into the jobs that they have chosen as parents. whether you have a pet, a child, a toddler, a teenager, a elementary, whatever your age, middle school, whatever it is, take the time out to provide some type of attention to get to know them. So, hope this video has been beneficial for somebody. Shea butter love. Peace.